Hey folks, back with Ancient Cosmology. Feed Gaza, Free Palestine. So I just did my class about Göbekli Tepe Cosmic Symposium at the library yesterday. So that went pretty well, just was showing, mostly focusing on Pillar 43, which is the only pillar I've deciphered there, but also giving a general overview of the site. So went pretty well, got like 15 people. Some people left early. Always hard to know if like people leaving early is because they have to go somewhere or because they are too skeptical of my theories, but at least there was no trolls this time. There was no like haters that heckled me or anything. So let's see. And then this will probably be my next class about the Lascaux Caves, 20,000-year-old famous scene. Because I've never done a class really about this. I think I've discussed it. I think I've shown it in some of my classes, but I haven't focused on it so much in general. In most of my classes, I've focused on the Egyptian maps and then the Göbekli one this last time. So, but since like, this avatar and basically has a big obvious phallus, I censored it with the free class sign and I deleted it off of the I photoshopped it away, or I could just pasted a piece of the background over the his penis here, just for the sake of like posting this all around town. I mean, I have posted these type of things around town, but not as much because it's a little awkward. Since, don't want to be accused of just posting dick pics everywhere. But anyway, this will be a good one. Interesting thing. So this is like a comparison where I am basically showing Asia and, or Asia east of Iran, I guess, and Turkey. So yeah, it's like they call this the Asia Pacific region or something like that. So it just shows how all this area of the Earth, which as we can see, that's basically a whole ass hemisphere or something, is contained in these two anthropomorphic maps. This one shows Australia. This is the Lascaux 20,000-year-old French cave painting. Shows Australia as the bison, Papua as the birdman, Philippines. So everything except Australia is flipped retrograde. Everything else is flipped backwards. I think because, it's like with the Göbekli map, possibly that because Australia is seen as a continent, whereas the rest of these are seen as islands. Maybe that's why they're all retrograde. But I'm pretty sure Palawan is also prograde. And Palawan is definitely not a continent. It's very small. It's right, it's like these little dots right there you can kind of see. So I think it's probably more complex than just continent versus island for this, but who knows? Um, but yeah, so then there's Palawan, which is right there, and the Lesser Sunda Islands that are right there. And then this seems to be Borneo here. Not sure if represents an island or if these type of shapes or colors are significant or not. And yeah, and this Philippines one also includes Sulawesi of Indonesia and Taiwan of China. And so that accounts for all that stuff. And then this thing here shows Kamchatka Peninsula as these birds. Shows the snake as like some of the islands between there, which are not really visible here. Shows Japan as this critter here, like a hare, I think, which was the totem of this town where these maps are made. Found. So yeah, there's the hare. I'm thinking it's a hare or a rabbit or whatever, bunny rabbit. These little birds seem to be Korea. These circles under it seem to be the Yellow Sea and this stuff in here. This little critter seems to be Taiwan. This seems to be China. And I'm guessing Leizhou and Hainan are erased from there because the original is smudged around that area, like damaged. So probably that was accounted for by some little appendage from China here. Then here's Indochina down here, up here with the Malay Peninsula coming out as, I guess it's like a shark's tail here. And then these two guys, Java and Sumatra, are here like as a fox or something and a bird. And then their heads are like little islands near their necks, like Bangka, Belitung, and as for Sumatra, and then Panaitan for Java. And Java's tail is basically the Lesser Sunda Islands, which are also the Atlatl of the Birdman, the Lascaux Birdman. And then his feet are like the Thousand Islands and some other islands down here, I think. Then this one over here is India. The gateway is India, and the gatekeeper is Sri Lanka there, and with part of its body also being Rama's Bridge, those two islands that are Pamban and Mannar, I believe, between the mainland and Sri Lanka. And then this gateway over here seems to just represent this, basically the Arabian Peninsula. And so by virtue of that, it kind of includes the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea and basically Egypt, because Egypt is on the Red Sea. So this is where it labels, it says this is like where I'm from, like this is where the person in this coffin died. And then, their soul travels along to all these other places. So yeah, between that and that, it covers this entire, basically almost a hemisphere. And it could be that this or something signifies Antarctica in this, and something might signify New Zealand. I don't know, like maybe this weird thing coming out of here could somehow represent New Zealand. I don't know. Or New Zealand could be in a separate painting somewhere. So yeah, this just kind of points out all the things, but this one I used Google Earth and it's not super visible, a lot of the details, but it's what it is. Let's see. So this, I'm been trying to figure out this avatar. This is from the Yolngu people of Northern Australia, from Arnhem Land, West Arnhem Land. So it's said to like represent this area, like this river area. So it says the tail is from the shoreline out from the mouth of the river out into the sea. So it kind of matches how, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a deeper impression that goes like that. That's like that the river has eroded, or maybe from when the sea level was lower and this was dry land, but basically, underwater, there's the river kind of extends to that. So that's the tail. And then this is like the coastline, and then the body extends into the river. So it's not super obvious, I would say it's harder to identify than my other avatars like Göbekli and Lascaux and Egyptian and stuff, which is how I was able to identify them. But so that shows how esoteric these type of geo avatars can be. So this is like the possibility that this is actually its head, and so that the turns in the river account for, and that kind of fits the shape of its head a bit. And it also fits kind of the shape of its arms, even though this arm would be backwards. But since in this ancient system things are often easily just flipped backwards and forwards, that might not be an impediment. So this could be one of its arms, this could be its head, or at the very least these could be iterations of its head and arm, and there could be other iterations that could be smaller or larger or elsewhere. But yeah, then the tail just kind of goes that way. But I was looking at this, which is the next river over, and this actually matches pretty well too. In some ways matches better. So I almost wondered if they told the white people the wrong river just to, because usually these things are just kept secret. They're not divulged to outsiders. Oh yeah, I have a lot of tabs open. I gotta, it's my nerd life. But like I almost feel like I could see like this almost looks like that, and so who knows? This at least could be another iteration of it. That's of the crocodile. That this is that its body is basically both of these river mouths, or not, or maybe this one is unrelated and it's just coincidental that it has the same similarly shaped kind of gorge coming out of its estuary. So this again, I've been trying to compare. Um, I've been looking at this map from Sodilo Hills in Botswana, where my family used to live, and I'm thinking that this one might be Madagascar, just based on its shape and based on its elevation above these other ones. That these other ones could be the mainland of Africa, and then this one could be Madagascar off the coast. So it does seem to match. This I think is another iteration of the Scorpion, where in one iteration, and probably really the main one they're showing here, it's just Puerto Rico and its surrounding seamounts as the legs, and then the Virgin Islands as the tail. But I think in another iteration, it includes the Leeward Islands, which stretch all the way to South America and all the way to this coastal island of Trinidad. And so Trinidad is very much shaped like a stinger. So I think that's another iteration of the tail and the stinger. And then here we have Costa Rica as the dog, and this Lake Nicaragua as the area surrounded by the snake, and the snake's head being Cabo Santa Elena there. The dog's paws being Osa and Burica Peninsula and Coiba Island and Sona Peninsula. And I think it also has a tail here that's Sabaco Island and this other little island. And then, of course, Panama down here with the Azuero Peninsula and Sona Peninsula. And then Colombia with Baru Peninsula here as the headless person. But yeah, so this one would be a pretty gnarly, scary critter in terms of there's a lot of stuff to run aground on in there because there's a lot of shallow areas if you have a big ship. Is showing the head of this avatar from the Göbekli Stela, which is Delmarva Peninsula.